Hello and welcome back to Math and Tea, the show where we talk math and drink tea. I'm your host, Dr. Joseph Van High. Except, ding, I've leveled up. I've officially gone from Dr. Joseph Van High to Professor Joseph Van High. However, it's kind of curious because essentially I'm doing the same job. I've just gone from working at the University of Georgia to working at the Ohio State University. Somehow that changed my title. Why? Well, that's what I'll be talking about in this episode. Now, in America, there are a bunch of academic ranks. However, I'm here interested in academic titles, the things you would refer to someone by. And really, we only have two of them, doctor and professor. And the difference between them is fairly simple. A doctor is an earned title. The moment you earn it, you basically have it forever. And you earn it by getting a PhD. That simple. Now, professor is a working title. You have the title of professor because you're working at a job that gives you that title to go with it. Now, there is one exception to this working title rule, and that's the academic rank of professor emeritus. If you have worked at a position that offers the title of professor and then you retire, you are typically made professor emeritus and still referred to as professor, even though you're technically retired and, well, probably not working as much anymore. Now, there's a common assumption that anyone working and teaching at a university has the title of professor, but that's actually not the case. There's only a couple of ranks that actually confer the title professor. For example, assistant professor, associate professor, full professor, which is usually just called professor, and again, professor emeritus. And any visiting position of that rank will also confer the same title. Anything else? Instructor, lecturer? Nope, not technically a professor. A quick note on courtesy here. If you're talking to someone for the first time, someone who teaches at a university, but you don't know what their rank is, just assume it's professor and refer to them as such. If it's not, they'll correct you on it. Okay, so now we come to, well, myself. Why is it that my title went from doctor, the title that I had earned a couple years ago by getting my PhD, to professor, a title that I earned from doing a particular job, even though I'm essentially doing the same job? Well, it all comes down to a weird quirk in the whole academic career thing. You see, after getting a PhD, but before starting a tenure track position, which is typically assistant professor level, many people will do postdoctoral positions. Now, these are kind of strange. They're not really rigorously done across the whole nation. The whole assistant professor, associate professor, full professor thing, that's basically done everywhere in the country. However, postdocs are kind of up to each own university to decide how they want to do it. And, well, sometimes they can be at an assistant professor rank and sometimes they're not. So while I was working at the University of Georgia, I had a rather long title. I was a postdoctoral teaching and research assistant, which isn't actually an assistant professor position. So I was Dr. Van High because I had earned my PhD, but I wasn't Professor Van High. But now that I've started working at The Ohio State University, I am officially a Zassenhaus Assistant Professor, which is a visiting assistant professor position, and therefore, Professor Van High. I hope that helps to clear some things up, but I gotta go for now. I still have tea because it was a short episode, but oh well. Bye.